everyone. Welcome back to Lighthouse Within. I am your host, Ambar Paloma, and this podcast is all about helping you face change with more joy and more peace, both the changes you choose and the changes you don't choose. Today, we're kicking off a brand new series all about strengthening your sense of self. And I am so excited to dive into this topic because I think it will be helping you build better boundaries, reduce people pleasing, make decisions with more clarity, trust yourself more, and ultimately have more peace and joy in your life. And today I want to talk about what it really looks like to trust the process with peace and joy. I think whenever we're faced with a moment of change or uncertainty, whether it was because of a personal choice or something outside of our control, this can come with a lot of anxiety. And if we're being honest with ourselves, a battle for control with life over the outcome. This can leave us feeling scared, hopeless, drained, burnt out, and I don't want that for you. I want you to face uncertainty from a place of calm and peace. The other reason this topic has come up for me is because I have been having to learn this lesson the hard way, what it means to trust and relinquish control. And I realized before I learned this lesson, the idea of trusting sounded really vague to me. So when people would say things like, trust the process, trust God, trust the universe, trust that it will all work out, it just sounded really vague. And if you also used to be an overthinker, or maybe you still are, you might also wonder, what does it really look like to trust? So I want to break that down for you because when you're on a healing journey, it's always going to look a little messy in the middle, and you're going to have to trust the process. If these topics resonate with you, please sign up for my waitlist for one-on-one coaching. My coaching is specifically designed for the ambitious person who is used to having it all together and is tired of carrying it alone. This will be a safe space where I will help you carry the weight of this transition, step into the next version of yourself, and move back into a space where you're at peace and thriving. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is, why does this happen to us? Why do we struggle so much with trusting the process and releasing control to the outcome? The first reason I notice is the mentally I'm somewhere else syndrome. We often tend to delay peace and joy for the outcome. We store this version of ourselves who is the happiest, most at peace, most stable within the destination. And we think that's where our stability lies. And until we get there, we feel like we will not be that version of ourselves and we are incapable of having peace and joy in the now. The second reason I've noticed that this comes up with people is that we don't really understand what it means to trust. I personally used to think that trusting the process meant sitting around, waiting, and hoping that things would turn out okay. I would get worried, spin all of these worst case scenarios in my mind, and my anxiety will go so out of control. And if you are someone who is a high achiever or ambitious, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you are, because you're listening to a podcast about personal development. So if you're that kind of person, this can feel even worse because you're probably used to being someone who has it all together, is on top of it, and gets the results that you want. So not only does it feel horrible to sit and wait and hope that things would turn out okay, even if you're spinning the wheels trying to get what you want and not getting results, that will have you feeling like you're not in control. You're not on top of things. You don't have it together. Hello, identity crisis. So how can we fix this? I have two main things that I really want to walk you through today. And the very first thing is a good old mindset shift. I want to help you redefine what it means to trust and really understand what that looks like as you go through a healing process. Recently, I was listening to a podcast and it was talking about what trust meant in different languages. And I swear it rewired my brain and I want to share it with you. But also, I'm a total word nerd. I don't know if I ever told you that I actually have a bachelor's degree in linguistics. So yes, I paid money, good money, to learn about languages, and not just different languages, but learn about how we use language, how meaning evolves over time. So when I saw this, I was like, ooh, the little nerd in me got really excited. So I found out that the meaning of trust has different connotations in different languages, and some of them were so beautiful. So in Hebrew and Arabic, when they talk about trust, it has a connotation of trusting something so sturdy that you could lean your entire weight on it and it would hold you up like a pillar or a fortress. In Dutch, when you can trust something, it means it is something so sturdy that you could build on it. Think of like the foundation of a house. In Chinese, trust means this is something so sturdy, you can assign a responsibility to it. You can assign a duty to it. And I love that word duty because to me, it feels like it carries such a weight of like loyalty and responsibility and also honor. I'm thinking like of a soldier who's willing to defend their country. So when you can trust something, it's at that level, right? And then in Swahili, and I thought that this was kind of my favorite because it was just so sweet. In Swahili, it has a connotation that when you trust something, it means you can place your hope in it and it'll keep it safe. And I thought that that was the most beautiful thing because I think that when you're going through a difficult season, when you're going through a season of uncertainty, when you can't see what comes around the bend, and you're just living every day step by step, the one thing that keeps you going is hope. Hope is one of the most powerful forces in our world. So when you can trust something, it means, at least in Swahili, it means that you can place your hope inside of it the same way that you would place really precious jewels inside of a safe to keep it. So I thought all of that was so sweet because when you can trust something, if we look at these languages, it means it is so sturdy it can hold you up. It is so sturdy you can build on it. It is so sturdy you can assign a duty to it. And it is so trustworthy that you can place your hope in it. So when I thought about what does it mean to trust the process, I thought it was so nice that in all of these languages, there is a connotation that you can rely on it. So when you think about trusting the process, I want you to think like there is a harness around you. Okay, imagine you're rock climbing. I've never been rock climbing myself, but I've seen it in the movies. So imagine you're rock climbing, right? And normally they have a harness on. Sometimes they have a hard hat on, depending on where they're climbing. So when you're climbing up the mountain with this harness on, what does the harness do for you? One, it keeps you in place. If you were climbing up and suddenly you got tired and needed to take a break, the harness would more or less keep you around the same area on the wall that you're climbing on or the rock that you're climbing on. What else does the harness do? If you were to slip as you're climbing up, like you reach out your hand and you didn't grab the next spot correctly, the harness, once again, would keep you in place. And if something would go so wrong, like so terribly wrong, and let's say rocks are starting to fall from the top of the mountain and you need to get back down, the harness would get you back to safety quickly. So when you think about the process, I want you to think of it like that harness. It is not something you just do, but it's something that helps you recover quickly from mistakes, allows you to rest when you get tired, and allows you to get back to safety or back on track when something goes really wrong. So when you trust the process, you're not just completing a ton of steps and hoping that something turns out okay. The process is literally, it's your harness and it is your safety net. And I've really been learning this myself. I've been on a huge health journey for about a year now. And there was a period where I didn't lose or gain any weight for like 6 months. This was so frustrating. And in the past, it would have been enough to make me quit, like legit. It was really frustrating, especially when I felt like I wasn't getting any closer to my goal. But one of the reasons for my weight gain in the past was that I used to use food as a way to manage my emotions. Whether I was happy, sad, anxious, or angry, food was always my go-to. During those 6 months, I didn't lose a single pound, okay? But I also didn't gain anything back because I had a nutritionist I had to answer to. And she told me to trust the process. And I was like, oh, there's that big phrase again. And I remember I was like dealing with a lot of stress, and she told me, Amber, right now, I just want you to focus on getting good sleep, managing your stress, and trusting the process. And I was just like, ah, trusting the process. Anyways, I took her advice. I guess I was paying her for it. And I started making sure that I was getting to sleep on time. And I started to find new ways to manage my stress that didn't have anything to do with eating. And it was so funny. This is all I was managing to do for 6 months. And she just kept being like, don't give up, trust the process. But today I can say I have lost almost 50 pounds. And the biggest reason I have managed to do that was because in those 6 months, while I was stalled, while the harness was just keeping me in place, the hardness of the process was just keeping me in place. I was learning one of the biggest lessons that undid the reason that I had gained the weight in the first place, which was my emotional eating habits. So that brings me to my next point. The process is not just something that you release control to while you wait anxiously. Instead, you are co-creating your life with the process. The process is your training ground. It's your support system to help you get into alignment with the version of yourself who is capable of getting to the destination that you want to get to. In other words, the process won't just support you, it will expose where you are out of alignment. And I know that that can sound taxing, it can sound terrifying because growth is hard. And honestly, I don't want to know one more place that I'm out of alignment. It can be overwhelming and it can be challenging. But I want you to think of it this way. The process is supporting you so much that it rather show you how to grow before you reach the destination so that when you get there, you won't arrive as the anxious, overwhelmed, burnt out, insecure version of yourself who thinks you don't belong to be there. Instead, the process is making sure that you arrive as the confident, joyful, peace-filled version of yourself that can walk in with your head held high because you know you belong there. That is how much the process is supporting you. It's not giving you more problems. It's giving you more opportunities to be ready, to be in alignment with the version of you who can get to your next destination, to your dream destination. And I want you to make that mindset shift. Here's why this mindset shift is so important. I have seen people who see waiting as just sitting around or doing a few things and then being like, okay, when is it supposed to come? And when it doesn't come, they freak out. They think it's not for them and they give up. I don't want you to be that person. I've also seen the opposite, where people are like, it's not coming, so let me do all the things and go into overdrive. Spoiler alert, I'm talking about myself. But when you wait, you usually have assignments you need to complete. I love a good analogy, if you can't tell. So, have you ever gone to a doctor's office and you're sitting in the waiting room and they have all these intake forms for first timers, right? If they call your name and you don't have your paperwork together, what happens? You need to wait even longer and get the paperwork done while they process other people ahead of you. So, in other words, you can delay your appointment by spending the time that you should have been in the process, in the wait, and not actually committing to the process. The harness will keep you in place as you climb up the wall, but you still need to climb. So when I say you are working with the process, I mean there is something you are supposed to learn in this season that you might need when you get to your dream destination. It doesn't matter what your destination is, whether it's improving your art, building a business, getting stronger in the gym, making new friends, or finding a life partner. The process will always expose where you can grow in areas like patience, emotional management, self-care, boundaries, and more. For example, let's say you're on a fitness journey and haven't found the right routine yet. You might see this as a setback. You might get super frustrated and want to give up. But what you're actually doing in this season is building the muscle of exploration, getting to know your body so well and learning what it responds to. That knowledge will be critical when you do reach your fitness goal and now you need to maintain it. Or maybe you're working on building a business and haven't quite figured out the right routine to stay consistent. But in that process, you're identifying where you lack time boundaries. You're probably practicing setting those time boundaries, which will make you more efficient and disciplined once your business is thriving. Or Maybe you dream of having a life partner, but you're not there yet. In the meantime, you're building deep, vulnerable friendships where you can practice speaking up when you're upset and allowing others to support you, skills that will be just as important in a friendship as it is in a romantic relationship. And here's the hard pill to swallow. For many of us, the process is exposing that we aren't very good at managing our emotions in the face of uncertainty. The process is revealing to us that we don't handle disappointment very well. The process is showing us that we struggle to persevere when we don't see the outcome we want in the timeline we made up in our minds. And especially for my ambitious folk, the process is exposing to you how much your sense of self is tied up in succeeding. So here's the good news about this. If you are noticing what the process is exposing in you and you are responding to it, that is literally the work. That is literally what it takes to climb up the mountain. Addressing those things is what's going to help you keep climbing and get to your dream destination. And that work should be occupying enough of your energy so that you're not just sitting around anxiously waiting for the outcome. Meeting it with a good mindset will also help you build your confidence in handling these kinds of things, which will help you meet future changes with more peace. Recently, I have waited over 8 months, okay, for an appointment to renew my residence card in Portugal. In that time, the office has gone on strike, stopped handing out appointments, and the government literally disbanded and then had a whole new election, and I still don't have an appointment. I could easily be waiting over a year to have a new card when it should have taken 3 months. This situation is entirely out of control and also out of my control. If I were trying to control it, I would feel so helpless. Instead, I realized that this season was teaching me something I was not really good at: sitting still. I am so used to always looking for the next thing, the next city, the next goal, the next place I want to travel to. Suddenly, I had to live in the now, not in the next, just day after day in the not yet. And y'all, I used to be such a restless person, like constantly traveling. If I didn't have travel plans every 2 months, I would panic. Now I can't even leave the country. And I literally felt like life was like, yeah, so I know that you want something else, but right now, I'm not giving you anything else. So learn to make right now enough. Hear me now, because there might be somebody else out there who needs this same message. Learn to make right now enough. And I really feel like this season has been a really big exercise in staying still and being rooted in the present and feeling like what I already have is enough. I have had to learn so much about being patient with things that are entirely out of my control while still managing to find joy in the in between. So, my message to you, as someone who knows in more ways than one, in more experiences than one, what it feels like to literally not know when something massive you're waiting for will happen. I want you to move through this sense of self series that we will be going on together and your next life change. And I want you to remember to trust the process and what that means. And if you're looking for someone to guide you through that journey, join my coaching waitlist in the show notes. If this topic resonated with you, I also recommend checking out my other episode on identifying if you're forcing something or fighting for something you truly believe in. Tune in next time as we explore the number one thing that will help you stay rooted in your authentic self as you move to your next season of change. I love leaving you guys with the final message, and this one is short and sweet. If you want, please take a nice deep breath with me. Inhale, let your breath bring you into this moment. Hold it, and exhale, rooting yourself in this season. When you trust the process, you're not just handing over control and waiting for things to work out. You're co-creating your life with something so sturdy, you can lean on it, you can build with it, and you can rest in it. In the messy moments when you feel lost or unsure of how to get from here to there, remember, you have a harness holding you steady, giving you the space to rest until you're ready to climb again. Okay, my loves, I always have a wonderful time chatting with you. Remember that you've got this, and I am rooting for you always. Bye.